Mad Men was created by series showrunner Matthew Weiner and was released back in 2007, where it lasted for 7 seasons on AMC, and it stars Jon Hamm, Elisabeth Moss, January Jones, John Slattery, and a slew of other talented actors and actresses. And it follows the story of an ad agency on Madison Avenue in New York City during the 1960s as we become involved in their lives, specifically the life of Don Draper, one of the agency's top officials and creative heads who has a mysterious past. Mad Men was a show that I got introduced to as it was out the door. The 7th season had probably just came out and had finished up, and I had just started watching it on Netflix, and I remember pouring through those episodes with my mom and my dad several years back. And when we finished that show, we were like, this is one of my favorite shows of all time. And so I was excited to finally sit back down and rewatch this show from the beginning to the ending, because I've grown a lot since then. I've matured and I understand filmmaking and TV shows, and just I understand a lot of things a lot better than I did back when I was 18 and 19. And so, sitting back down, watching this show, which was an incredible treat, I could safely say that this is still one of my favorite shows of all time. It's really hard to pinpoint what exactly makes Mad Men work, and it's kind of everything. It is a period piece that just ingrains you in the period of the 1960s, putting you right into those situations, such as what was it like the night JFK won the presidency? What was it like the day JFK died? What was it like when the Vietnam War started? And all these different movements, and that's something that I love that Mad Men does. It just encapsulates the 60s, not only through its commercials, its ads, and what's going on at the time, it's just the little movements that are going on. Our dealings with sexuality, racism, sexism, just all these different things just come together and they kind of just meet all in the 60s, and I absolutely love it. I've never seen a show really just transport me to a time period quite like this. And also another thing that works in this show is, of course, the character work and the writing. Matthew Weiner and his team of writers have crafted one of the most perfect shows I have ever seen. The dialogue is so well done. It's thought out so perfectly. It's meticulously written to the point where you're like, how were they able to do this? The character work is absolutely amazing, and every character in this show is dealing with something that somebody had to deal with during the 60s, and they kind of encapsulate what it was like to be somebody in the 60s. People are dealing with so many different things: identity crises, getting old, not feeling their worth at home, dealing with being a housewife, dealing with being underappreciated, dealing with so many different things, and it's so well done. And the writing of this show really shines during some of my favorite moments of the show, which is, of course, the stuff to do with the ad agency and when they're pitching commercials. It's so much fun watching these people work and how they worked, coming up with commercial and ad ideas to some of the most beloved commercials that we know of today. It's absolutely fantastic watching these people work and really getting into their lives. We see that this business is extremely dirty and chaotic, and it's just so much fun watching these madmen run around, and it's just so much fun. And also, as I said, the character work is absolutely amazing, as well as the acting. Jon Hamm, in particular, as Donald Draper, our main character, this is the best performance that he has ever given, and I love Jon Hamm in pretty much everything he has done. But this is just a masterclass of acting, and him in this role, if anybody else was in this role, I don't know if it would work as well, because he brings so much to the table, so much depth to this character that I just absolutely love. And Don Draper is not a great person. He's a womanizer, he's an alcoholic, he just doesn't want to be a father at times, it seems. It just seems like he's wanting to escape. And that's something that the show really delves into, is who is Don Draper? That's the question we ask at the beginning of the first season. Who is Don Draper? And then, as we discover along the way, by the end of the show, we know who Don Draper is, but Don Draper has to ask himself who he is. And I think that's a wonderful arc for this character. And I'm just going to say it out loud that Don Draper, to me, is the greatest character ever put on television. He is extremely complex. He is just amazing to watch, but also he's somebody you really sympathize with. You want to see get his life together, and when it doesn't go the way you want it to, it's extremely heartbreaking. He is absolutely amazing. I love Don Draper, I love Jon Hamm, but also the other characters along the way. Kind of our secondary lead of this show is Peggy Olson, played by Elisabeth Moss, who is another part of the show that is just absolutely amazing. Watching her climb up the ranks of this agency has been such a delight to watch, as she starts out as a secretary and then eventually becomes a creative head of this company. It is absolutely amazing. The journey she goes through, it's beautifully done. She has to deal with a lot of things, again, sexism in the working environment, but she's absolutely amazing, as are all the other characters in the show that by the end, when it was all said and done, I hated saying goodbye to these guys, because, you know, you watch a show for so long, you get attached to everybody, and they kind of become family in a way. And when they're gone, it's really, really heartbreaking. But I think this show is absolutely amazing, guys. The dialogue, the writing, the direction of the show, just how it encapsulates the 1960s. From 1960 to 1970 is such an important period, and this show really showed that to me. It really revealed itself, and it was just fantastic to sit down and watch this show again. And when the finale showed up, it was really heartbreaking. In fact, there's just a ton of heartbreaking moments through this show that you don't see coming, that really grip at the soul a lot. And I love everything that this show does from beginning to end. I think it's absolutely perfect in a lot of ways. However, there are some things that I think the show kind of skimps out on or lacks a little bit, and that is particularly garnered towards the second season of the show, which is my least favorite season of the show. All the seasons are fantastic, but this one is definitely the weak link, and I think the problem is that it becomes a little bit soap opera-y and doesn't put you in that time period as much. There's a lot going on, and also the characters, our main characters in particular, just kind of get paired with some pretty bland, uninteresting characters. Dawn has a uninteresting mistress in this season, and Peggy is paired with this priest character that I don't know why I loved that character when I watched it originally, but this time around I didn't particularly care for him. But I say season 2 is still fantastic, but it is definitely the weak link in an otherwise amazing, perfect show. If I had to rank the seasons best to worst, starting from the bottom, I would of course say season 2, it's great, but, you know, compared to all the other seasons going forward, it's not as good. Then I would say season 3. Season 3 is like, season 1 again in a lot of ways. I absolutely love it, especially the ending. Then I would say season 5. I know a lot of people love this show, and it has some of the best character development of the show, and one of the most haunting moments in this series. However, I find it a tad overrated, but it's still fantastic. Then I would say season 7, the final season. It just has a really excellent first half and a really dramatic and thought-provoking second half that I really, really love. Then, after that, I think I would say season 6, which is, I think, a very underrated season in a lot of ways. There's some people that are kind of mixed on this season. I think it has to do a lot with, like, the tone and the way the characters are handled, but I find it so fun. It's definitely the funniest season. It's got a lot going on, and it's extremely grim at times too that I really like, and it challenges our main characters, I think, in a way that some of the other seasons don't particularly do. I absolutely love it. Then I would say season 1, which I think is just a perfect season of television. Back when I originally watched this show, I wouldn't say that season 1 was my favorite. I would probably say it was my least favorite, but going back to it, there's just so much I love about it, and I keep thinking about it over and over. And then finally, my favorite season of the show is season 4, which I think is just a perfect season of television. It's one of my favorite seasons of television ever. I think it does such a good job of evolving the characters, especially Don Draper, and it has just this emotional part to this season that is so different from anything else that comes out in the rest of the show. It really encapsulates the relationship between Don Draper and Peggy Olson, and I just absolutely love it. Guys, Mad Men is a top tier show for me. This is a fantastic show. I think it is one of the greatest shows ever produced. The writing is fantastic. The character work is amazing. The direction, the period, everything. The issues that it deals with, it becomes so timely. It's so bingeable too, and it means a lot to me. It really is just one of those shows you have to sit down and watch to get an opinion of it for yourself. But anyway, guys, with all that said, I'm gonna give Mad Men a 10 out of 10. Well, guys, I want to thank you for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I say if you have not seen Mad Men, please do yourself a favor and check it out, watch it, love it, enjoy it. And if you have watched Mad Men, rewatch it because it's absolutely amazing. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching this, and as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next review.